Nick, it's good to meet up again with my fellow broadcaster. How are you getting on?
Well, fine, thanks very much, Bob, considering the circumstances. But I've just been reflecting that we have known each other now, wait for it, 65 years. Can you believe it? And we first met as little boys, aged about 7 or 8, arriving at boarding school, which is quite an isolating experience at first, isn't it? And now here we are in our 70s and we're isolated again. What a strange thing. Who would have thought it?
It is strange, isn't it? And interestingly, we've got another 3 weeks of this at least. And three
Yeah.
weeks was the period that we had when we were at school before you could actually see your parents. They could come and visit on a Sunday afternoon every 3 weeks. It was a long time,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Oh, it's a long time then. It seems a long time now, but it's a very strange situation, surreal, isn't it? Really, because we both wish we could be at work doing what we've done all our lives. I mean, you've been in television 47 years. I've done 42 years, and journalists and newspapers and radio before that. And it's very frustrating not being able to do what we're sort of somehow born to do.
Yes, it's bizarre because when you think about it, this is the biggest story that we'll ever have in our lifetime, certainly in our
Mm,
lifetime of broadcasting, and
yeah,
we're isolated from it. We can
yeah,
only view it along with all
yeah.
our other viewers on. Talking of which, people ask me, "Well, how are you getting on?" And I talk to a lot of people, and they get very depressed. They tell me they are depressed, and my advice to them is not to watch too much news. I think watch Central News, of course, and Midlands Today, but to really cut down your viewing of news. Otherwise, it's just depressing. If it's wall to wall watching news, it does depress you after a while.
Yeah, it is relentless, isn't it? And we've said that, Vicky, my partner, and I, we've both said that we can't cope with it all the time. You have to have a break and watch films or TV series of some sort or another to get away from it all. Otherwise, it would really grind you down. And so we've watched a lot of other things besides the news, although we are gripped by the news as well, of course. But our main event of the day is going for a long walk. Literally, we build our day around that, what time of day we're doing it, when the weather's best for it, which route should we go on today. You know where I live, you've been here, so you know what lovely countryside there is around. I know it's the same for you. I feel very fortunate, actually, that if I have to be in this situation, I've got some lovely places to walk around without actually having to use the car and go straight from the front door into some beautiful countryside, and I feel very grateful for that.
That is the one upside, if there is an upside to this lockdown, because you can walk free of traffic pretty well. There are no planes
Yeah.
going overhead. You can actually enjoy nature. I mean, it's a long time since I really enjoyed a spring as we are now, because we've got time to appreciate it now. When we go on a walk, you've actually got time, haven't you?
Yeah, it is weird, isn't it? Not being ruled by the clock and not always thinking, oh, I've got to be there, I've got to be here, I've got to be at work for this time, or I've got to get down the road for this time. There seem to be very few time barriers and deadlines. And as you say, you can really appreciate nature. You go for a walk because it's so much quieter. You can hear the birds singing far more. And people are saying that because there's so much less pollution, that actually wildlife is flourishing anyway. I'm much more appreciative of things like that. It does make an enormous difference. And I also speak to people who are still working, like lorry drivers, and they say the roads are so quiet, it's absolute bliss for them because it is noticeable. You can go for a walk for an hour and only see about 3 cars these days. So guys who are driving the length and the breadth of the country on the motorways must find it absolute heaven at the moment.
Nick, looking ahead, and if you read the Sunday Times yesterday, you'll see that there are thoughts that those over 70 may be in lockdown for a lot longer. They're talking about even a year, although that's pure speculation. But how do you regard that?
Well, it fills me with absolute gloom and horror. I can't imagine not working. I know we're both older than a lot of people who are working, and a lot of people retire in their 50s or 60s, but to still be going strong in the 70s is a privilege in itself. But the thought of not being able to return to what you'd call normal life for another year is horrific. I can't get my head around that, and I just hope it is only talk, because a lot of time it is speculation, isn't it? I mean, I really hope that I'll be back at work in 3 months' time. The world will return to some form of normality. I realise some things won't happen, like big football matches with 70,000 people crammed together, or restaurants packed out, or theatres or whatever. But some sort of normality, surely in 3 months, if only to get the economy going again. And I just hope that you and I can sneak under the wire and get back in there.
I think we will, Nick. I'm pretty sure we will.
Oh gosh, I hope so. But I do, it is strange, but I do feel desperately sorry for people on the front line who are working with danger all the time, and flirting with catching the disease all the time, and the people who've got loved ones in hospital. We've got a very close friend who's been fighting for his life on a ventilator now for well over a week, and it's absolutely terrifying. I'm just grateful that I don't know more people who are actually fighting for their lives. But it is a terribly serious situation for a lot of people. So, the first thing has to be health, doesn't it? Before we can even really think about lifting the lockdown. Health, so important. So many lives need to be saved at this terrible time.
Indeed so, Nick. Nick, it's really good to talk to you, and let's catch up again soon. We'll maybe take a nostalgic look at what's been going on.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, loads to talk about. Absolutely, Bob. Love to. Great to see you. You're looking well.
And you. And your hair's growing, by the way.
Oh, that's because I'm not working and a lot of sunshine. You don't get
Take care.
better, do you? And you.